いらっしゃいませ。
Hi, I'm Scott, and I've just been to the Lawson convenience store.
お弁当いかがでしょうか？
First up, we've got the minced chicken rice bento with barley. So this is a really popular lunchbox in Japan, popular with young and old. It's a real soul food, Japanese soul food. So who can argue with a dish that provides naturally the colors of green, yellow and brown? Wow, can't wait to get into this one. It's called Sanshoku Soboro Don, or tricolor Soboro on rice. The yellow is a kind of scrambled egg, sweetened with sugar and mirin. The green can be anything really, green beans, edamame or okra. And the brown is a minced chicken, which has been cooked to give it a salty sweet flavour made with soy sauce, mirin, fresh ginger and sugar. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but this bento box is a little bit smaller than usual. It's part of the new healthy range produced by Lawson. So it's not only the size, which is a wee bit healthier, but the rice is mixed with mochi mugi. What's that, I hear you ask? Mochi mugi is a type of barley, and it's considered to be a superfood as it contains a much higher amount of fibre than brown rice or regular kinds of barley. Mochi mugi simply tastes really good, and it's got a nice, kind of a bouncy texture. So let's go in for a closer look. So it's a little bit smaller than I said, but this is one of the new range and their new healthy lunches. You can see it's got the three beautiful colors there. It's got the meat, the egg, and some edamame. So you would think this would be like dry, but actually when you heat it up, the juices really kind of melt together and it produces kind of a lovely moist topping on top of this super healthy rice. Even the edamame look really fresh. Even although this lunchbox is quite small, it's quite deep. So you can see you actually get a fair amount of rice in there. So it's not as small as it is. It's kind of deceiving. And you can see the little pieces of kind of barley mixed through it to give it that extra texture and adds a lot of interest and nutritional value. One important piece of information, if you don't read Japanese, there's a little sticker here, actually says it in two different places. You must heat this up before you eat it. I'm not sure the reasons why. I don't know, something with health and safety or whatever. But anyway, put it in your microwave, get it nice and hot before you eat it. I'm going to go and heat this one up. So that's it, nice and toasty. So actually I was just reading when I was heating this up in the Lawson homepage, the product description. It says, it's rich in dietary fiber, colourful chicken soboro and egg soboro make this an appetizing bento from the outside. I love these descriptions, they're just funny. Okay, so let's get this off. And I'm going to go straight, oh, this is really hot. I'm going to go straight into the minced chicken soboro part. So it looks much juicier than I would have imagined. And it looks rather hot. Okay, here goes. Okay, now straight off the bat, I can say that is juicy. It doesn't usually come quite as juicy as this, but this is like all the chicken juices and all the sauce that it's been cooked in is like kind of permeating down into the rice, and it mixes together to make this lovely, flavoursome experience. Let's try a little bit of egg. So the egg also has because it's been cooked before, there is a risk that it kind of goes dry, but this one also looks kind of moist. Let's try some. So these eggs have been sweetened either with sugar or maybe a little bit of mirin or something, but it's not just egg. So when you look at it, you think, that's just scrambled egg, but it's not. It's egg which has been flavored, probably with a little bit of dashi as well to give it some extra umami. So when you eat just the egg on its own, it's a little bit plain. So you should have, in one spoonful, you should have a little bit of everything, and the whole thing comes together to give this balance of umami and flavor. So I'm going to try and put everything on one spoon. There we go. I'll get some edamame, egg, and chicken soboro all together. Let's go for the combination. Just as I thought. Put them all together and in one big mouthful. The edamame are still slightly, they're not overcooked. They're slightly crunchy. They're not crunchy, but they've got a wonderful texture. So the texture of all three of them, the chicken is extra juicy, the egg is kind of a little bit sweet, and the texture of the beans, edamame I should say, just all come together to make like this amazing, I don't know, experience in your mouth. So of course, one of the key points of this bento is the rice, because it's supposed to be healthy. So they've added this mochi mugi to it. So I'd like to just taste the rice just on its own without much on it and give you my impression. So yeah, there's quite a lot of barley in there. So you're getting some extra texture and you're getting a little bit of extra flavor. It adds kind of a nutty, kind of a, I don't know, should I say healthy flavor to it. If you're just having normal steamed white rice, it's really nice. It's got lots of flavor. But if you add this mochi mugi to it, it gives it an extra dimension, and which is why they've come up with this concept of like a healthy lunchbox. So the size of this is deceiving. It looks quite small, but actually it's pretty deep. So I thought this would be like for a kid or something, or like one of those office ladies in Tokyo who don't eat very much. But I'm quite surprised. This, I've had maybe almost going on half of this now, and it's quite filling, so definitely looks can be deceiving. The price is 346 yen, which is $2.33. Calorie wise, we're talking 326, which is not too bad. I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 5. It's much better than I expected because it was so small, and these types of dishes tend to sometimes be a tiny bit dry, but this one was juicy, tasty, it's got an excellent balance of flavors, and it's enough to eat for a lunch, even for a big boy like me. It's a really good choice for your lunch. So you might want to add like a sandwich or maybe even another rice ball to it if you're a big guy. But definitely 4 stars, it's a good one. Now, let's move on to something which I've been looking forward to all day.
Umai.
Marron Glacé Tart. So it's autumn in Japan right now. So when I think of autumn, I think of some incredible seasonal desserts. What are the 2 top ingredients in seasonal desserts in Japan? Of course, sweet potatoes and chestnuts. I picked up this little guy and he is chock full of chestnuts. In Japan, they call chestnuts, as you and I know them, kuri for most of the time. But funnily enough, they also use the French word marron, or as maybe you say in French, le marron. Correct me if I'm wrong. A marron glacé is a confection which originates in Italy and France. And basically it consists of a chestnut candied in sugar syrup and glazed. They're really popular here in Japan, especially in this season. You want to see what it looks like? Let's take a peek inside. So to protect this very fragile dessert, it comes kind of double packaged. It's topped with marron glacé, which is the candied chestnuts, and they are looking good. It's got loads on it, hasn't it? And it's topped also with kind of a chestnut cream, and it's lots of it too. When I cut it in half here, I had to be very careful not to break it up because it is quite fragile. You can see inside it's got a good layer of cream too, and some lovely candied chestnuts, kind of a paste in the bottom. Another good thing is the base, the pastry base, is actually quite thick because there's nothing worse than a soggy bottom, as we all know. So it cuts really nicely, it holds its shape, as you can see there. The base is actually kind of quite biscuity and it's quite crumbly, so it looks like it's got loads of butter in the base part, and it holds its shape very well, and it's easy to cut into with a fork and easy to eat. Look at that. Wow, now that is a tart. So I've been looking forward to having this for a while now, so let's dig in, eh? So as I said, it is double packaged, so environmentally speaking, that's a topic for another day, but it's double packaged. It is what it is. So it comes in this lovely little package and it protects it because I said it is quite breakable. And it's got a good weight. I love that. It's got a good heavy weight. This is not a lightweight dessert. This is some serious dessert here. Whoa, the smell. It's like a caramelly, nutty, buttery smell. Like something you'd find in a patisserie somewhere. Absolutely heavenly. So, and I can just feel the butter on the base there. It's very, very buttery. Okay, let's dig in for the first bite. Oh, that is exquisite. Wow, just a whole combination. It's got the cream, it's got the chestnuts, it's got the paste on the bottom, and it's got this absolutely fantastic kind of a biscuit base, which is super buttery, very flavoursome. What a combination. Is this from a convenience store, or is this from like a top highly rated patissier somewhere in Tokyo? I'm going in for some more. I've already decided my rating for this. So let's try just a little bit of the Marron Glacé, just to see what it tastes like on its own. It's really good. The texture's nice. It's got the nutty, kind of dry, nutty texture, but also because it's kind of caramelized in like a candied syrup, it gives, kind of a nice kind of a, not crispy, but it's got an extra layer of paste on the top. It's actually quite sweet, so it balances it off with kind of the mild flavor of the cream in the center. And then the base part is actually not all that sweet either, but it's got a stronger flavor of the chestnuts. And as I said, the cookie base, the pie crust is absolutely exquisite. Oh my goodness me. Somebody get me a coffee. Sorry, I'm going to have to eat the whole thing. It's so good. Price-wise, it's 246 yen, which is $1.65. Calorie-wise, we're talking 341. Definitely not good if you're on a diet. As for my rating, I'm definitely giving this a 5 out of 5. Absolutely incredible. I don't even have anything left to show you here, so it's all in my belly. Oh!
Arigato.
Tapioca milk tea. So I'm a wee bit late to the party with this one because the trend has sadly passed away. 2 or 3 years ago, there were tapioca milk tea places all over the place. But the trend has moved on. But I've still got a soft spot for this odd little drink. I guess in some countries it's called boba tea or bubble tea. But in Japan they go for the pretty straight name of tapioca tea. So what is tapioca tea? It's basically sweet milk tea which contains little jelly bubbles. You can see at the bottom here. I don't know if you can see them. And it gives this odd sensation. You're having a drink, but also you're sucking up the bubbles in this extra thick straw. So let's talk about tapioca. It's a starch that derives from the cassava root. So this starch is extracted through a process of washing and pulping, and once enough wet pulp has been gathered, it's squeezed to extract this starchy liquid. So the cassava starch is a dietary staple in various countries in Africa, Asia, and some parts of South America. Let's see what Lawson's version of tapioca milk tea looks like. So it comes in a nice little container with a huge thick straw on the side. You can see the little pieces of tapioca floating around inside there. Yeah, look at they're fair size, aren't they? So I've got this big, thick, fat straw. You stick it in there because it needs to be a big straw to get these because they're quite, they're quite kind of bulbous, shall we say. So I poured it into a glass just to give you a better view of what you're actually getting inside because you can't see it from the outside. And if you give it a stir like this, you can see there's quite a fair amount. And this is when I took them all out and put them separately. There's a fair amount of tapioca in there. So it says on the side here, give it a good shake before you drink it. So I'm going to do that. And push the straw down from the top and it pops down at the bottom. There you go. Give it a pull and off we go. So, now, here goes nothing. So just in that first little mouthful there, I had maybe 2 or 3 little pieces of tapioca in there. It's a wonderful sensation. As I said, I do have a soft spot for this drink. So when I went to Taiwan about 4 or 5 years ago, which is probably one of the most famous places for tapioca milk tea, I'll never forget the amazing different types they had there. So I'm always trying to replicate that somewhere here in Japan. So this is kind of coming close. This is really good. So we have to talk about the tea because it's mostly tea. That's the most important part of the flavor. So as it says on the website there, aromatic and rich Assam black tea with Hokkaido fresh cream is added for a mellow flavor. And it says you can also enjoy the texture of tapioca. I second that, you definitely can. So sweetness wise, I think we always run the risk of making this too sweet, because if it's too sweet, then you can't taste the flavor of the tea. And I don't know, it kind of takes away from the whole experience of enjoying the tapioca. So this is actually just nice. This is 238 yen, which is $1.60. Calories, it's 144, which is not too bad considering it's got Hokkaido fresh cream in it. I'm going to give this tapioca milk tea 3 out of 5. You might think that's a wee bit low for all the praise I just gave it, but to be honest with you, I'm not really a tea person. The same as seafood, I'm not really a seafood person or a tea person, but I do like tapioca milk tea because it's creamy, a little bit sweet, and it's got the little bubbly things inside. So yeah, definitely a good one. The totals are 830 yen or $5.58. Calorie wise, the total thing came to 811, which is quite a lot, but I think a lot of it came from the Marron Glacé tart, which was absolutely fantastic. Okay, thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.